Welcome to the Volunteer Vibe Youth in Action podcast. My name is Hasri, or you can call me Abang Long. And today we'll be talking about the volunteering in Singapore. So grab your kopi, lace up your kindness shoes, and get ready, because we do not know how it goes. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. This is an initiative by SCAPE for their Creator Residency. So for more information on SCAPE, you just look up online at their website, scape.sg, or their socials, Instagram, TikTok. Today I am not alone, because if I want to do a podcast, it's going to be awkward. So I have with me two guests from the Malay Youth Literacy Association, or the 4PM. And with me we have the volunteer manager, Sadiki. Hello. As well as Ame, who has volunteered for how long already?
Coming to 3 years.
Coming to 3 years already, okay. And I'm also representing myself, because I also volunteered for 5 years since 2019. To start off, how are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, thank you very much for
Can you please speak to the microphone?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, blooper. Okay.
Hello everyone. Hi, Hashri. Thank you very much for welcoming me to your podcast. I think it's a very meaningful project, and I am very grateful to be part of this. I'm Sadiki, the volunteer manager at the 4PM, which is the acronyms for the Malay Youth Literary Association. Well, the Malay name is comprises of 4 P's and 1 M. That's why we have it as 4PM, right? Or 4PM in Malay. And over to you.
Hi, my name is Amir, and I'm currently a volunteer in 4PM for 3 years. And I'm currently in the program called Friends. So basically, my role is being a mentor to the Year 1 IT students for 1 year. So back then, I was an IT student also. So I was under the program as well, which made me a mentor now. So thank you, Harshi, for having me here also.
Alright. Welcome aboard. I think rather than letting you just go straight to it. Okay, the first question that I have is for Ame. Talk us through your beginnings from when you first heard of 4PM to how you're now as a volunteer mentor.
So firstly, I was introduced to 4PM through my year 1 in ITUS. Back then, I didn't know anything about 4PM, and I was a bit confused, like why were the staff were there doing my lessons. But after the pass through 1 year, I managed to learn that they not just help the youth, but they also help the community, the Malay communities. Then and because of them, I became a mentor, because they inspired me to be more extrovert person than an introvert person. So yeah.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, I've mentored for about 5 years or so. And this guy right here is one of my mentees as well. I'm just going to shame him here, just for fun of it. So see how it comes full circle. Yeah, because if you look at Singapore right now, there's a lot of initiatives. We have some from the different groups in Singapore, like for example, Mendaki, PM, CDAC, SINDA, and the EA, the European Association. Myself, I would say similar to what Amir has gone through, but I was quite extroverted is the wrong word. Introverted. Through the 4PM Friends program, I slowly opened up, talking to people, interacting with them, get out of the comfort zone. Enough about me. I think we've talked about the volunteers. So how about Sadiki? How did you manage to end up being a volunteer manager at 4PM?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So before I joined 4PM, right, I've actually got to know 4PM about a decade ago when I was in Mendaki. I was in the what we call the Community Leaders Forum Secretariat. So CLF is a platform in Singapore where the Malay Muslim organizations they come together and they try to find ways to work together for the benefit of the community in a more sustainable manner. So back then I got to know about 4 PM, but I really didn't get in touch with 4 PM for quite some time until last year, when I was invited to join 4 PM by the executive director, Mr. Didi Sazli. So we were colleagues previously in Mendaki, and we've kept in contact over the years. So I think what's interesting is that in 2024, right, 4 PM reached 77 years old already. 76, sorry, because this year is 77, right? It was set up in 1948. So what's really interesting and what really compelled me to join this organization was the fact that it's very much embedded in the community. And I'm just speaking about the Singaporean community, because although it was set up by the Malay community, by Muslims initially, right, over the years, as Singapore matured as a nation, we find that 4 PM has also become part of the national fabric as well. So by the time I joined, right, it's been here for many decades already. And what really appealed to me was the fact that the volunteers, the programs, it really reaches across the racial and cultural divide. So if there's something which I really believe in, it's really about being inclusive. And I think 4 PM really stands for that, especially in recent years. So that's something which really taught, it pulled me in to say that, you know what, maybe I should explore working at 4 PM and being part of these programs. So to share a bit more about what I do, right, at 4 PM, it's a couple of things. And in general, overall, it's about the strategic volunteer management. So what I do here is to make sure that our volunteers, like all of you here, right, you are here for a good cause, you know what you're doing, and of course I think whatever you're doing is meaningful across the different programs. So that is really what makes me very happy to be part of this organization.
Thank you for sharing, Sadiki. I mean, because you are also the manager, like, I'll consider it staff of 4 PM. Could you share a little more about 4 PM or whatever you can share? Yeah.
Okay, so 4 PM was set up by youths back in the day, right? 1948. That's a long, long time ago. And I think for many of us, 1948 is like ancient times, right? But what's important is that in 2025, I like to believe that we're still relevant. And especially as a volunteer-driven organization, we find that volunteers are with us at every stage, at every layer of our work, right? So for example, Friends, we heard from Ami earlier, right? And from Hashri as well, that Friends is one of our key programs. In fact, we've been recognized as one of the national priority programs by NCSS. So that's one of the key markers of our success in empowering the youths in our national landscape. So when it comes to my work, right, and I would say the work of the staff, what we do is to really work together with the volunteers to run programs across the board. So for example, Friends is a program which I think many in the community know us for delivering a lot of good work with the youths, right? They come in the first year, perhaps they are a bit unsure of what the future holds for them. And then, we send in a team of both volunteers and staff to come and work together to impact them throughout that year that they are in ITE. And then hopefully at the end of the year, we still have got quite a high number of students who still stay on to go on to the second year. So I'd say that that's actually a very good indicator of success. And that's really credit to all the work by the volunteers, by the staff together. The other part of my work is also to work with my team of colleagues from the different departments. So for example, right, if you've heard of Ramadan on Wheels, or RO in short, in Malay it's called Roda Roda Ramadan. To give you a context, right, many years ago, in the 1960s, when Singapore was I would say a poorer nation, we were just starting out as an independent state, there were many people who really required help. So back then, what we did was to send out sampans to the southern islands. We really rowed our boats, right, all the way to these kampongs at the far off corners of Singapore, and then we delivered rations. So RO in its current form has been around for 25 years already, and RO is one of the programs which I think a lot of people in Singapore know 4 PM for. So every Ramadan season, right, people will come to us and ask us, you know what, can we do something for RO? Can we deliver rations? Can we contribute rations? Can we pack rations? Can we do something for the beneficiaries? So RO is actually one of the programs which sees a lot of volunteers coming in. In fact, I think this year we've got about 400 volunteers from all backgrounds. So I think that's really empowering that we got a lot of people who really believe in the programs by 4 PM.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Zadiki. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, volunteer participation in Singapore, especially, like, rising a lot. I mean, from the different organizations, both government and non-government. But unfortunately, because I think post-COVID, everyone's going back to their working life and stuff, it will be difficult to, basically the time spent is a bit decreasing in a way. So maybe you can share your opinions, like why or how do you think it affects volunteering in general, in a general sense?
Sure. I'll start first, yeah? Okay. Since I'm volunteer manager, right? Okay. Okay. So just last week, I've attended an event by the National Council of Social Service. So last week, Wednesday, the 12th, I believe, it was International Volunteer Managers Day. So it's a day to celebrate the contributions of volunteer managers, around the world. So as part of the session, right, I was treated to insights from NCSS and from members and stakeholders in the volunteering sector. So what we know for sure is that a lot of people in Singapore actually love volunteering, and volunteering takes on many different forms. So for example, we can hear of things like micro volunteering, meaning like let's say in a month, right, we may not have enough, we may not have time or bandwidth to spend hours upon hours volunteering. But what we can do is perhaps like 1 hour out of 1 month. That's enough already. Find something that works for you, something that's sustainable, and something that doesn't take too much out from you and your family. Because I think if we look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right, we always start from the most basic stuff first, right? Yeah. First is the self, then your family, and then the people who are close to you, your work, your bread and butter, and then we move on to other things like volunteering. So it takes a bit of effort, I would say, in order for you to make time, to carve out time and effort to help people out there in the community. So in short, I think we've got a lot of people who want to help out in the community, and we have a lot of opportunities, and I think 4PM has those opportunities for those who are keen.
Yeah, for sure. So, Ami, you want to say something?
So for me as a volunteer, even though I only volunteered for coming to 3 years, I feel like volunteering is considered my full-time job, despite the work called volunteering. But I take it as a job. And yeah, like Sadiki say also, it takes effort to willing to spend time to volunteer and take off some family time or your work time or your off time to volunteer. But honestly, when I volunteered, it felt like I'm at my second home. And also, the people that I always seen whenever I do my volunteer work they are considered my second family. Yeah.
Wah, aku tak.
Very touching.
Yeah, very touching indeed, yeah, for sure. But I mean, just have a point lah, because you could be at home gaming, sleeping, but volunteering, he could consider a job, even though you're not even getting paid for it, because it's purely volunteer driven. And yeah, like it definitely makes an impact to the volunteer as well as the society in general. To me, yeah, because. And you mentioned about family, which is touching, right? But yeah, honestly, as someone who's quite experienced also, I feel like it's true. Like, because it's not just friends, like, oh, you can come in one session, then you do whatever, then go off. It doesn't just end there. But sometimes it's like drag in the WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, whatever. And yeah. So we'll get on to a little more monetary wise, because in order to host programs to volunteer for the volunteers, they have to get like income and stuff. So how does the government support organizations like 4PM?
So I think that's a very good question, Hashri. So when it comes to running an organization like 4PM, it does take quite a lot of money to run, sustainably, to make sure that we can pay for the rent, right? Yeah. To pay for the electricity and to pay for the bills, and definitely for the staff as well. So when it comes to the funding for such organizations, in fact, there are different funding levers operated by the government and disbursed through different government agencies. So for 4PM, I think without going into detail, because some of it is quite sensitive, right?
Yeah, because money is all like sensitive on that. So you just describe as best as you can without hitting the sensitive parts.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, allow...
Don't get into trouble.
Okay, we shall do that, okay. So, 4PM, I'm very humbled, I would say, to also know that we are recognized by the government as a good partner, because when we run programs with our staff and volunteers, and definitely with the volunteer support, right, we are able to hit the KPIs for the programs which we have identified as crucial for our organization. So, for example, when we run Friends, we do get a certain amount of grant funding to run, meaning to pay for the staff, to pay for the logistics, to pay for the operational funding, operational concerns lah. And all of this is very important because it makes us much more stable in ensuring that in that year let's say we run for a year, right? We're able to get enough funding to run the different programs. So like earlier this week, in fact, we've had the graduation ceremonies for our friend students from IT College East, IT College West, and IT College Central. So all of this is possible because of the stable funding supply of funding pipeline that we receive from the government. And of course, I think because funding is something which is very important, right? There needs to be accountability as well. And accountability is emphasized via reporting at regular intervals. So let's say every quarter, I'm just illustrating lah. So every quarter we would submit reports to the relevant agency to allow them to see that we are actually on track in terms of getting our programs up. We are impacting the identified beneficiaries. We are getting the program, activities done up properly, and there's actually good oversight of everything. So all of this is very, very important. So in fact, the staff here, right, a lot of what we do is paperwork. Boring stuff, but very important stuff.
Yeah, true.
Because we need to make sure that everything's accounted for.
That's
Yeah.
true,
So
because,
yeah.
I mean, it's not all fun and games. I mean, if you're getting paid also, you still have to do the cycle and all that.
True, yeah. So I would say that now you might be wondering, right, because we have a lot of volunteers, how do we make sure that it's fair for everyone? So for example, 4PM is a very unique organisation because if you look at our management, they're all volunteers, meaning they're not paid to be part of the management. They come out because they want to come forward and serve, and they believe in the cause. So we work together very closely with them to identify what are the priorities for the organisation in the next 2-3 years, because the term is 2 years, right? So we identify the priorities, and then we work together on the deliverables. So when we get this clarity, we are then able to deliver and to execute on these programs, like Friends, Row, and in fact every other program lah.
I noticed that Sadiq is talking a lot, with a lot of good explanations on that, but we don't have much from Amir, so Amir can take the mic and maybe share like some of your memorable moments volunteering. Not just friends, but in 4PM in general.
I think my most memorable moment was row, because like my first year volunteering for row was back in 2023, if I'm not wrong. I was so lost back then because I didn't know much of the other volunteers, because most of them are not familiar faces. Only some of it, but majority are not familiar faces. But at the end, we had a big iftar together, which then from unfamiliar to familiar faces. Then also not just Ro, but Bestari also. So Bestari is not just a program for IT, but it's more like graduate IT students who are graduating. So we recognize them for their good GPAs, their role model in school, and then also for their attendance lah. Then from there, I'm able to get to see the different type of students in the different type of environments, and I'm very happy to be volunteering for 4PM lah. Yeah.
Again, I think it's like a broken record, but volunteering is definitely something I would say crucial to Singapore society.
Sure.
Because sure you have all those business people all going to work all that, but at the same time I noticed that while you're all connected, there's some who are underprivileged as well. So organizations like 4PM with the Round on Wheels, it's a good thing that there's such things where we want to help the community, because maybe they underprivileged not because of like, oh, I want to just lepak all that.
Right.
Maybe like because some issues and yeah, because Singapore is quite an expensive place to live, but technically they look out for their citizens through like government charities or like organizations like this. Yeah.
If I may add, Hashri, I really like that point as well. I think in Singapore, right, or in any other country lah, out there in the world, as human beings, I think it's our natural instinct to assist those who we see perhaps in need of support, assistance, or even guidance, right? So here at the 4PM, specifically, I would like to say that we like to see everyone as being deserving of respect, of dignity. We're not here to look down on anyone, and that's why even in the way that we run the programs, the way that we design the program delivery, we want to make sure that that dignity is maintained. And when people come down, for example, right, to 4 PM to ask for assistance, we train our staff and we advise our volunteers as well. How do we engage with our beneficiaries in the most respectful way possible? Because like what you mentioned earlier, I think life sometimes can be quite unpredictable, right? We may not always be, it may not always be sunshine and roses. Sometimes life takes on a different season and we may need a bit of help to tide over. So here at 4 PM, I think we're very blessed, very privileged to be in a community where people are here. We've gathered here. It's a place where people feel that, oh, you know what? It can be a platform to share the goodness with other people. So in fact, even if Ro was, like maybe during Ramadan period, but in fact, we do assist the beneficiaries the year round, because we do have programs which are designed to bring them back to 4 PM and to engage with them and to let them see that, oh, you know what, 4 PM can actually be a place where people feel inspired, feel welcome, and it's a bit like family lah over here.
I mean, you touch on a good point. Sure, volunteering is all fun and games, but I think life will be boring with so challenges, right? So I want to hear from the both of you, like, what are some challenges that you face during your volunteer work or like your volunteer management work? So I think we'll start with Ahmed first.
Here you go.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Yes.
Challenges.
Oh,
What are
challenges.
the challenges that you face during volunteering?
Maybe you can share like what's your hardest challenge?
Like maybe
My hardest challenge.
Without breaking PDPA.
Yeah.
Okay, what brings
Without breaking PDPA.
Oh.
I think the most hardest challenge was trying to get to talk to people. Like it applies to like school, everything all, but like volunteering wise, it's like on a different level, and you really don't know anyone there. That was one. Then secondly was didn't know what to do because I wasn't so sure of the instruction and I was like very clueless back then. But I managed to overcome that and like automatically I know what to do. So those are the most challenging parts of volunteering for me.
Like, because managing a big group of people, I understand, is probably not that simple as it sounds. So, like, perhaps if you want to share any of like your challenges and stuff.
All right. Okay. So I think the portfolio of volunteer manager is I would say it's a broad stroke, right? Because in my role, in my position, I engage with a lot of people across our volunteer base, and of course our staff, right? I work with almost everyone, if not everyone in the team. So I think the challenge is really, at the end of the day, managing people. And I think because we come from a diverse area of backgrounds, viewpoints, and definitely experiences, it's about how do we then manage the competing expectations. Because for example, when we have things like Bestari, we have Ro, we have Friends, for example, right? There are different programs, and I think the tempo moves a bit differently for all these different programs. So for example, at Ro, we have a distribution day every year, which is usually a week or two before Ramadan, before Hari Raya. So what we need, right, during distribution day, for example, is a tightly managed program. Right? We need people to know what's happening, what goes where, who goes where, and we need things to move like clockwork. Now, the thing is that many of us, we are probably not acquainted with that on our daily, work. So we may find it quite stressful. So my role, and I share from this year's experience, right, it's about how do I then speak to everyone to understand that there are conflicts, and I think I'll be very open about it. There will definitely, be conflicts and there'll be arguments. Occasionally, it can get a bit tense as well. So my role is not to aggravate that, right? I think that's the last thing I want to do, lah. Yeah, yeah, because with a fire, then sekali you pour like boom. Yeah. So my role is really to ease the tensions, to speak to the different groups, perhaps separately, behind closed doors, and to understand what's happening and to get more clarity. And with that clarity, right, then it gives me much more confidence to then speak to the other side and to bridge the divide. So if I could say that there's one thing which is evergreen lah, in terms of the challenges that the VM faces, it's really about how to manage people. And I think, yes, it does get easier over time. At the same time, I think new challenges pop up as well. Because, for example, we get new volunteers coming in. They may not be familiar with the culture yet. So it's my duty to make sure that they know what's happening, they are properly briefed, And to be fair to them, clear expectations are communicated to them. And for the volunteers who are on board already, times change, right? 4 PM from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, not the same as 4 PM of 2025, right? So the needs change on the ground. So we also need to speak to our volunteers to understand and to, of course, communicate to them what are some of the things which have changed, and perhaps we could rethink the way that we have done things over the years.
Okay, thank you for that.
So it's like adapting to emerging generations.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I've put out on Instagram, I put out a poll. Yeah, 2 questions here. Firstly, I think this is more towards Sadiki. Like, how do I know my money is fully going into actually helping people? Because I think there's a lot like people say like, oh, we go charity, and then like we don't know whether the money go to good places or what. Maybe they're misusing or what. Like PM wise, or if you want to explain the general volunteering scene in Singapore, like, how do people know that their money is fully going into helping other people? Yeah, just put it in your own words.
Okay, so Hashi, I think that's a very important concern as well, because when we work, right, we get the money, it's our salary, our hard-earned money. We want to make sure that if we contribute to a cause, it really goes back to where it's supposed to be, right, to the beneficiaries. So in Singapore, what we have is what we call the fundraising ratio. So for example, right, let's say 4PM wants to raise $100,000. We cannot have more than 30% of that amount going into the fundraising activities. So actually what it means, right, on a practical basis, we cannot exceed a certain ratio out of the entire funding amount that we raise. So if it's 100K, we cannot spend more than 30K on it lah. So it means that we have to be very prudent with the way that we use this opportunity to make, to bring in the funds to 4PM. So, for example, we have an annual fundraising engagement which we call the Friday Mosque Collection, right? Which is usually in June or July of every year. So what we do every year is we will gather our volunteers and we will engage them, and we will, send them to different mosques around Singapore, and they assist us with getting donations from the public. So we need to ensure that whatever we raise, right, during this donation drive is accounted for. So the amount that we receive, we will have to carefully collect, tabulate, and then record everything, and then to ensure that whatever expenses we incur, right, during this exercise is also accounted for. So again, we cannot spend more than 30% of it, according to best practices.
So this is all like general in terms of all the organizations and stuff, right?
That's right. I think in general, an organization which is recognized, let's say like 4PM, right, we're an IPC, an Institute of Public Character. It means that we've been assessed, we've been vetted, that we are of a certain caliber, a certain quality, and we are able to deliver based on stringent requirements. So that's why when people donate to us, right, they will be assured that whatever happens here, we are able to use the money for good causes. That's what we've identified.
So I mean, now I feel safer if you want to donate stuff.
Thank you.
Because I think, as much as this is a question I got from my Instagram followers, I also have that thought in mind also. So thank you for elaborating. And this can go to both of you. This next question: are there any sports type volunteering that you are able to join? Like maybe if you guys experience in other places. I think Sadiki already got a lot of experience, right?
Okay. If I may share about the experience program in 4PM, I'm sure you've probably gone for it. Have you?
For at least one.
At least one, right? Okay. So we've got one program called Friends of Football, right? FOF. So we have it almost every Friday, and we invite the youths from the ITE to come forward, and to be part of this engagement. And why Friends of Football, right? It's because football is a unifying sport. A lot of boys, especially in youths in Singapore, they find that football is something which really brings people together, and you have fun. Yes, a few hours of running around, chasing after a ball, and that is really what unites people, because that's a mission, right? You're here to have a few hours of fun, and of course during the session itself, our social workers, our friends, team will be engaging with the youths. So that's one thing which we have under 4PM, Friends of Football, and I think it's been quite good actually. The take-up rate so far. And of course, a new project which we have launched is called Project Kuko. So if you know of this place called Jalan Kuko in Singapore, it's an area which is considered to be, low income. It's a place where there are many rental flats and disadvantaged families residing there. So 4PM, we have launched this Project Kuko Futsal Challenge, and every month we'll be there. to run sessions with the youths who are in the area. So once again, our team will come down, myself included. I've been there twice already. So I think it's really quite amazing. We see up to 20 to 30 youths coming in on a weeknight, and then they find that, oh, you know what? A few hours bonding over sports and then pizza afterwards, right? You know, like calorie out, calorie in, right? After that, yeah, it's something the balance out, right? Maybe net zero, lah, you know. Yeah, but it's something which brings people together. Maybe not just a football, lah, not just a futsal, but I think it's a feeling of people who you can trust, people who you feel close to, and people who believe in the same cause, and perhaps at the same stage in life, right? So there's like 20 to 30 youths coming in, and our team is there. Our team is quite youthful, except for me because I'm uncle already, right? But still, I think I can pass off, lah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely look young.
If I pull out my hair, then uncle already. Yeah, but yes, these are two programs which we run under 4 PM. Friends of Football under Experience, and then the other one is called Project Kuko.
Okay.
So join us.
So, I mean, talking about Friends of Football, right? You mentioned it's just primarily for IT students. So, if let's say for those who are not from ITE, say they stay secondary school, go poly, run ITE, are they able to join and stuff? I mean, I myself am not a sports person.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, like if let's say people who like athletes and stuff who are on the youth end, if they want to come down to enjoy, would it be possible, or is it just strictly ITE?
I can check with my colleagues because I've not been to one FOF yet. I will be there next week, hopefully. Right? Okay. So I think for FOF, yeah, if you're part of a volunteer team, why not, right? I think we generally are open to our volunteers coming in to join us if you got time. Definitely, I would recommend that you join the Project Kuko because that is really open to all.
That one is open to public.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you're 35 and above like myself, right, probably need to have a bit of a health risk warning lah, because it gets quite intense and balls are flying everywhere, so you just need to be very careful. Yes. The other thing which I think is quite interesting is that some months back we ran this special session. So one of our colleagues, Zaim, he ran a Zumba class for our beneficiaries and volunteers just outside here at the hard court. Quite interesting. I think on the morning, like you wouldn't have expected him to be a Zumba coach, right? But there he was, music blaring, and he was like teaching all the machi to to do Zumba moves, right? Yeah, that was really memorable. Yeah, so
Interesting.
yeah, so once the hard court is up again, I hear that it should be ready by end of the year. Yeah, please come for Zumba classes, okay, with us. You'll be Zumba fight after that.
I think probably enough of the lengthy questions. Perhaps we can do some rapid fire questions if you guys are up for it.
Sure.
Okay. So, first one, coffee or tea?
Coffee for sure.
I'm a Gen Z myself, so tea.
Okay.
Wait, one more question. With milk or with sugar?
Milk or sugar? And
Oops.
that's been the
Okay, that's
sugar.
another.
I think at this age I should really go for kopi o kosong.
Okay.
Books or movies?
Movie.
Movies, okay.
Books for me.
Okay. I mean, because like you say, you're quite experienced. I'll use that word. Yeah. So it's books is around way longer than movies, right?
I think movies also they have their I should go for a movie soon. In fact, I've been thinking of going for a late night movie, perhaps to distress from work. Just book a me time for myself. Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. So, what is the best advice you've ever received from anybody? Parents, siblings, or outsiders?
Continue smiling despite how they treated you. From my late grandmother.
Very stoic. Okay. Yeah, which is a good thing. Okay. Okay. I think for me it's just goja.
Goja.
Yeah, goja. Okay. Why it's relevant to me is because I tend to think quite a fair bit, right? People may think I'm an overthinker. So when you hear just goja, it's kind of liberating because you know what? Yeah, you can think of the many different scenarios, but yeah, just goja.
What is your favorite music genre?
Jecho songs. Wait, Melayu Jiwang.
Of course.
Correction Blooper.
Okay, so for me personally, it would be Keshi and Don Toliver.
Wow. So those genres like, how do we consider that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's pop or something.
Probably
It's
pop.
alternative.
more to pop and lo-fi.
Is Taylor Swift considered a genre?
That will be underground pop. One word that describes how volunteering or volunteer managing makes you feel.
Roller coaster. In a good way, in a good way.
I would say happy.
Happy, okay. One thing that volunteering or volunteer managing taught you.
I think be open-minded. You'll learn a lot of things from everyone around you.
That's true, that's true.
Be patient with everyone.
Yes. Really good, really good. What is one dream country that you want to visit?
Okay, there are two countries, all right? So one is Japan, I think, because I've always been fascinated by Japan. The other one is, you might be surprised, is actually India. Because my grandfather, his father is from India. So he came to Singapore from the port of Nagapattinam, right? It's in southern India nowadays. So I've always wanted to go there. Perhaps I'll go there soon.
So same like Sadiki, Japan. That's one. Then
I think Japan's quite common.
then secondly would be Nepal. That's a country that I actually quite fascinated by because of their culture. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so maybe you can recall the first activity you've done as a mentor?
First activity that I've done with as a mentor would be generating a picture using ChatGPT to show like what's their dream job as for their future lah. Yeah.
This one, interesting. But what's one skill that you've learned through volunteering or managing?
For me personally would be time management. Able to manage both volunteering and your personal lifestyle is actually crucial lah in your own time basically.
So managing?
Managing people, because we got, as I shared earlier, right, really a lot of people and personalities to manage, and I think that's one of the strengths which people say I'm very good at. So yes.
So I have two questions that coincide with each other. First, what keeps you motivated? That's one thing that makes you motivated. And then the second, what demotivates you? What's one thing that's stopping you?
Let's get started on the motivated part, okay? So I think motivated by the possibilities, right? Because when we get people, we are on the same mission to help the community, you can get a lot of wonderful things happening there, right? When we are all aligned on the same idea. I think on the other side, I would put it more as challenges to overcome, right? I think challenges to overcome also are things like life can be quite confusing, right? So when there are many things happening, I do think that having a break at times really helps to me to reorient. So if there could be something which I look forward to improving is to get a better balance.
My motivation will always be to the IT year 1 kids because of them I still feel like I'm a youth even though I'm going in my 20s, but but because of them I also able to continue with my daily life and also make me smile all the time. They never disappoint to make me laugh or have a fun time with them. Make me cry even like yesterday for the IT East graduation, and also for the demotivation part. There's nothing that demotivates me because everything is a motivation for me. Yeah.
Okay, optimistic I see.
Is that
Maybe
not,
maybe you can do some closing statements first from each of you. You want to share like whatever you want to share? Yeah, let's do some closing statements.
Okay, so I just like to say that, life is a journey, and exactly how it unfolds, probably that's a mystery of life, right? I mean, that's the entire point. We're not sure what comes next after today, after this moment. So every moment is not guaranteed. And I would say that I do agree with Amir. Try to see the brightness in life and try to see the motivation to live another day. Because I think this world can be quite confusing, can be quite depressing at times, can be very challenging. So what's important is to have a network of support. I think starting from yourself, you have self-care, right? You care for yourself, in other words. You make sure that you are being taken care of, your nutrition, your mental health, your physical health. Do sports if you can. Second is to ensure that you are surrounded by good people, people who give good energy. They radiate happiness and inspiration. And third, if you got the chance, you've got the opportunity to volunteer, which I think is the crux of this whole podcast, right? Yeah, is to explore anything that you may want to contribute to. I think today we are in a world where there's a lot of possibilities for volunteering. So go out there, find something which may resonate with you. If you don't like it, then it's fine, you've done it already. At least you've tasted what it's like. Then you can move on to the next thing which possibly you can contribute to. And if you find something that you really love, like I think Ame over here, yeah, stay there. And of course, if you want to deepen your roots, you want to explore new challenges within that organization or that project, I think, it can happen as well. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting me to this podcast. Really a pleasure to share. I know it's kind of late at night, but somehow we've got the energy and motivation. And yeah, really appreciate this opportunity.
Just like Sadiki said, try to find some opportunities to volunteer. It doesn't matter. It can be animals, it can be the youth, can be the elders, can be the needy ones. Just go for it. Don't question yourself if you're capable of it. Just go for it. Then also always love yourself before you love someone else.
I think in that case, I will give my own closing statements. What motivates me is basically the people that surrounds me. Whether it be the society that's being affected by our work, or maybe the people we surround ourselves with. I think we can use that as a good way to be motivated to help out the society. Okay, that will bring us to the end of the podcast. Thank you, Sadiki. Thank you, Ami, for joining us. So just a little PSA to any youth out there. Whether you're already volunteering or maybe just starting to, hopefully this little conversation we have inspires you to just go out there, see whatever options available. Because of volunteering, we will be able to affect Singapore, make this place stronger in a way. And every act of service, whether big or small, helps build a kinder, more connected home. So if you enjoyed this episode or this series, just leave a comment, just give a like, and you just share it with your friends. And if you have any stories, you can just drop me a text message or put it in the comments. And thank you once again to SCAPE for supporting this venture. For those who doesn't know, SCAPE is a non-profit organization as well, like RBM, who's focused on youth talent development and leadership. And the location itself, it serves as a safe, creative and physical space for young people to gather and express themselves and build a community. And it's also an IPC, just like Sari mentioned, an Institute of Public Charter. So what they have a ton of activities, maybe they have music, maybe dances, all that. And maybe public spaces you can loan, I think. Probably. But so thanks to SCAPE for supporting this podcast under their Creator Residency program. If you want to know more, just look up their Instagram, TikTok, or their website. And okay, good job. So until next time, I'll see you guys when I'm just going to use the same outro I use for my streams. Just because I can't really think of it. But So I'll see you guys when I see you. Take care. Bye.